Salvete omnes. Let's begin with Book 2 of the Aeneid. Now, it's important to note that the entirety of Book 2 is Aeneas speaking with Dido. Dido has asked him to retell his tale starting from when he was in Troy through the Trojan War, and he has agreed to do so. So this is all an extended narrative that he is telling to Dido. Primus ibi ant omnes magna cometante caterva Laocoon ardens summa decurret a barce, et procul o miseri quae tant insania cives, creditis avectos hostes, autula putatis, dona carrera dolis danaorum, sic notus ulixes. There, first before everyone, with a great crowd gathering together, Laocoon, burning Laocoon, rushed down from the highest citadel, and from afar he speaks out, "O wretched citizens, what such great insanity is this?" You have to supply an est here, and you also have to supply dixit here. Do you believe that the enemies have been carried away? And you have to supply an essay here. Or do you think that the gifts of the Greeks are free from tricks? Oh, I forgot the ula up here. Do you think that any gifts of the Greeks are free from tricks? Thus is Ulysses famous. Now, who is Laocoon? Who is this guy that rushes down from the highest citadel and starts yelling? Laocoon is a priest of Apollo, and the context for this scene is that the Trojans have just seen the Trojan horse. It's currently outside the city, and people are saying, "Oh, let's bring it in, this is great." And Laocoon, of course, he sees there's something wrong. He's like, obviously this thing is gonna be a huge trick, it's a huge trick. But are they gonna listen to him? We'll have to find out. So anyways, here we have an ablative absolute. Then Laocoon starts talking, and there's just a lot of implied things here. You have to imply a dixit here, and then, "O wretched citizens, what such madness is this?" You have to imply an est here. What such great insanity is this? Do you believe that the enemies have been carried away? Do you see a familiar construction here, I wonder? If you said an indirect discourse, indirect statement, then you would be correct. Do you believe that the enemies have been carried away? We have a verb of thinking, saying, believing. We have an accusative subject. Then we have an infinitive because there's an essay implied here. Or do you believe that the gifts, or do you think that the gifts, any gifts of the Greeks, are free from tricks? Ablative of separation going with carere, the verb. We have another indirect statement here, of course. Do you think that dona are free from tricks? And of course, I made it quite obvious here that danum is syncopation for danaorum. I added in the or here that is missing, so you can see the syncopation quite clearly. So it's genitive plural, even though it doesn't look like it. And then he says, "Thus is Ulysses famous." Of course, this is another name, the Roman name for Odysseus. And he's saying Odysseus is famous for his tricks. He's a tricky guy. The Greeks are tricky. We can't trust them.